Welcome back, family. This is Lovely T, your spiritual personal trainer. Sorry about that. And we are back with another episode with my co-host, Maria Cosme. She got me last episode. I'm not going to make that mistake again. She got me last episode. So, how are you today, Brown Girl Interrupting?
Hey there, Lovely T. I am fabulous. I'm in a good space.
I
How you
can
doing
tell.
tonight?
I see the glow. I see the glow.
The glow.
I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Are you interested in what we're talking about today?
Oh, I can't wait. You surprising me these days.
I've been surprising you. So,
what you got
is
for
escapism your reality?
Is escapism my reality or our reality? That's
our
our
reality.
topic here. Okay.
Hello, Palmer Studios.
Hey there, Palmer Studios. Welcome. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, fam? Welcome.
So, yes, is escapism your reality? When I ask you that question, what comes to mind?
Is escapism my reality? Well, one, I got to know what escapism actually is and what constitutes as escapism.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. So let's define. You know I'm going to define it.
Always.
Okay, so escapism, the tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy.
Okay. All right. Yes, escapism is my reality at times. I can answer that question.
Okay, I'm glad you admitted it. I'm glad you admitted it.
Okay. Yes.
So, can we look at escapism as a coping technique or a sinking ship?
Is it both and?
It depends. It depends. So escapism comes from a need to avoid unpleasant feelings. That's where it begins. That's where it starts. You don't want to be in this situation and you can't really ignore it. So you begin to escape over here and create a fantasy world that makes you ignore your true reality. It takes many forms like procrastination, addiction, distractions, and more. Escapism may be due to avoidance, as I explained earlier, running from reality and real life difficulties, or passive, like listening to music, watching TV or movies, or active, like job or hobbies. So you can escape in all of these at some point. Maybe you're not enjoying your marriage, and so you decide to escape by overworking or working too much or being away from the home. That's part of escapism. So I ask you again, Maria.
So you know me well. and yes, if that is the definition and those are the things, oh yes, for sure. I have been known to escape with work and projects from my reality to cope and get through things.
Okay. When it seems a little bit overwhelming at work, what is your escape techniques? What do you do?
When it's overwhelming at work? Well, usually work is the way that I take from everything else that's overwhelming, because work is the thing I can control for the most part. It's everything else in my life that I have no control over.
Okay. So what you can't control is when you start doing your escapism.
Yeah.
All right. So I ask you this question. Will escapism help you cope or drown you?
So I think it's two-part. Because I think escapism helps you cope in the short term, but I think it drowns you in the long term, because what you're doing is or at least what I'm doing, I'm going to speak for myself, is I am taking something that I should be addressing and shoving it somewhere else, not to
Mm-hmm.
address it.
Right.
So it's going to build up and build up. And by the time I get to it, it's pretty big and and I'm drowning in it because I haven't addressed it. And then I don't know how to address it because now it's so big, right? Like it's an avalanche, it's a whole snowball, and it just has become an avalanche, and I don't know where to start.
Exactly. Okay. I like that. Well, I mean, not that you don't know where to start, but I like how you assess your situation. And also, Namaste Redemption. We seen you come in. Thank you for coming. Okay, so escapism seemed kind of harsh.
Like the word itself is harsh?
If you're escaping from your reality.
So, but does it matter like how little or how much you escape from your reality? And how quickly you then accept your reality. So can you escape for like a short period of time to like get your mind straight and then jump back into reality? And that's a healthy way to address it. But like if you fall into escaping the reality for a long period of time, I think this kind of goes back to our conversation last week on lying, right? Like you're lying to yourself in your escaping something, right? And then you're in this hole that you can't get out of because you've lied to yourself about something and you've stayed in this like illusion of escapism.
Okay. You know what? I like the way you grow.
Okay.
Okay, so a lot what you said is a summary of what I'm about to go through. Because escapism, is it good or bad? We're going to find out. But escapism is a coping strategy method that implies the tendency to avoid the real world, looking for desired security and tranquility in a fantasy world. Okay? So the desire to escape is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. We all are escape artists in some sort of way. When we feel a disconnection in our life, we start to drift off into la la land because we don't want to deal with reality. So when we escape, it allows us to better deal with a world that is too overwhelming and seemingly impossible to manage. So I ask this: why would something in reality seem impossible to manage? Could you answer that, Margaret?
So many things in reality are hard to manage, right? Like, so why would it be hard to manage? Well, I mean, it could be mentally hard to manage, right? It's just a lot of taxing on your brain to think about it, to process it. It could be emotionally hard to manage because it triggers you emotionally and in a lot of like, like in hard emotions, like some emotions we don't want to deal with, right? Like it could be physically hard to manage, right? Just physically your body is exhausted. And so I can't keep doing this. I can't keep moving forward. I'm just going to kind of take a break and escape.
Ooh, I like the way you grow. I'm telling you. So, with her saying that, with Brown Girl Interrupting saying that, let's distinguish between what we can perceive as productive escapism versus unhealthy escapism. Okay, so we're gonna call this PH escapism. Okay, it's productive, healthy escapism. PH escapism. So this form is focused on constructive activities with several future benefits, within balance of the other areas of your life. This can also help you form rewarding habits, such as reading, finding out things about yourself, and help you develop your creative side. Who would have thought escapism would be that positive? Didn't you say something like that earlier? It's almost like a break, a rest.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's in good nature.
And so is it that, like, if it's filling you in some positive way where you're growing and kind of almost healing through it, then it's actually a healthy, it's what you said, the pH, right? Like it's positive, healthy escapism. So like creativity, when you said that, I'm like, okay, so I've also escaped with writing. With creating my podcast, right?
That's
like all these things have been my escapism.
That's right.
As of recently, and they have been healthy. They've been good. They've helped me to feel better so that when I start focusing on my reality, which hadn't made me feel so good lately, I am in a more empowered state.
Right.
So that's what, when you have healthy escapism, you're actually creating, like, you're healing yourself through it.
Right. I like the way you grow. Okay, so let's take a look at 4 attributes to pH escapism. 1, happiness. Why? Because you start to zone out of your current situations or hurdles to your experience that made them happy in the past. You zone out. You start to be like, damn, I wish it was like that again. So you start to disappear into a fantasy. Temporary gets rid of the stress, the worries, and strains in escapism. But you gave your mind a rest from it. Giving your mind a rest from the difficulties in your life is healthy. It is, but to a certain extent. The second attribute is the source of creativity. This pH escapism exposes your creative side. Sometimes your creativity is hindered by the stress, worries, and strains in your life and the people within your circle. When it stops, you experience happiness. It goes back to the happiness, right? The third attribute, motivation. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you work. You may feel like things can pop up that make you feel like you did it for nothing. But pH escapism provides motivation when you are not getting it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Almost like when you stop stressing, you stop worrying about it, and you stop just, boo-hooing. You take yourself out of that negative place. You come into this positive side, and you begin to think. And with the thinking, you create an event that manifests into your creativity. So that is the positiveness of it. The last attribute is therapeutic. So we all need a break from the hustle and bustle of life. Getting these necessary rests may require us to escape a little. pH escapism may reduce illness and anxiety disorders because it takes your mind away from the stresses in your life. So those are the 4 attributes of that pH escapism. What are your thoughts?
So I was thinking, when you said motivation, right? And even the therapeutic piece, like, I think the other element is that it builds your confidence, right? And part of why we feel overwhelmed with things is because we're less confident about, like, or not part of why, but I think, like, one of the consequences of feeling overwhelmed is your lack of confidence in something. So like this week I was feeling really overwhelmed with some stuff, right? And part of it was that I was not confident that I knew how to tackle all these problems. So I was starting to shift towards like wanting to escape it, right? Like, and part of that was, at the moment I was like, well, I'm just not doing anything. Like, I'm just done, right? Like, I'm done. I literally am going to lay on my floor and just let the universe take control because I ain't got nothing in me, right? But I got myself up, right? And I put my energy into creating something. And in that creation, like you said, right? I felt happy. My mind took a break from the other things, right? It was totally outside of those other things that were miring me and like holding me down and like weighing my emotions and my physical and everything. And then, but like, and it was therapeutic and it was motivational, but it built my confidence. And that was what was not there with the reality. So when I came back to the reality, I'm like, okay, I got this. I got this because if I got that other thing, I can do this too. Like, so it builds your confidence to let you know that I can tackle this thing.
That is right. And you tackled the total attribute of it all, which is confidence. Because like you said, which makes this the positive side of escapism. You took a break. You wasn't stressing anymore. You didn't have no more worries. And your ass was so creative because you took a break from the difficulties in your life. And you was like, man, something got to give. And you started to create. Right?
Yes. Yes. Redemption, truth. Thank you, redemption. Yes. Yeah. And it helped.
It helps. It definitely helps. And are you ready for the unhealthy escapisms?
Yeah, because I'm sure I've used those too. Like, it's not always pretty. Yes. All right, hit me with it.
We balance it out. That's the yin and yang, the good and bad. Nobody is perfect. If you're perfect, you ain't balanced. You're very imbalanced.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Expression defiantly helps. Logic. It does.
It definitely does. It definitely does, Ja.
It
Expression
does.
is big, right? That's
it's
That's
big.
What we're saying here.
It is big. It's a part of the communication. Which sometimes in escapism you stop. Yeah, it had the thing on that one right there. Okay.
Well, that's it, right? Like you don't want to deal with something, so you don't want to communicate, you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to deal with it. Like you literally are just like, I just need to be like blacked out right now, right? And that's a different kind of escapism,
right?
Which I think you're going to tell us about. So, what are the unhealthy characteristics?
Okay, so the unhealthy characteristics, and then I want you to give me examples of each one, and I'm gonna follow up behind you.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, definitely helps. I'm like, finally, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yes, redemption.
Yeah.
You know, life.
You know,
right?
life.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's all about expression.
It's all about expression.
Exactly. So, an unhealthy escapism may lead to procrastination, to escape from actions or emotion. So, we temporarily went into escapism, right? But what if that escapism made us not make that appointment we were supposed to do? What if that escapism made us forget an important errand we were supposed to do? Procrastination. How you feel about that one, Maria? Almost like what you said earlier in a flip mode sense. Okay, we're gonna bust around this joint, we're gonna flip mode it. So you temporarily take a break and you became creative and you came back to reality with your creativity. But however, you was procrastinating in reality, no matter how much creativity you had.
Truth. Yeah.
Procrastination. What are your thoughts?
Oh, procrastination is a huge problem for me in life. It is. And I think I function in procrastination sometimes with certain things that I have become accustomed to it. I was that student, right, who waited till the very last minute to write any paper, to turn anything in. Like, I was never the early starter, right? Like, I'm still kind of like that. I really like am day to day getting shit done to get to the next thing, right? Like, but it definitely will hit you when you do it for longer periods of time and for more things. And I think going back to when we're talking about not just work, but like problems in life, procrastinating problems in life is really unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. And guess what, y'all? If you need some help with procrastination, I want you to watch this commercial that's about to come up. And we're going to assist you with that procrastination. Welcome to Bettermindz Life Coaching. What does Bettermindz Life Coaching do? Bettermindz focus on personal, relationships, business, organizing, and wellness development. The personal development mission is to help you overcome mental blocks that you and others have placed on you, while helping you learn new things to strengthen your abilities and become more effective in your everyday life. The relationship development mission is to discover the value between two or more people to establish a common purpose and to gain skills and knowledge to show up as the best, most authentic version of yourself in everyday relationships, whether it is dealing with family, your partner, children, associates, or co-workers. The organizing and cleaning development mission is to help clients identify and acknowledge the factors that contribute to their disorganization to enhance clients' awareness that gives them greater focus and understanding of making a change. The business development mission is to develop a plan of action based on what best matches your goals, personality, and vision. And if you haven't already started a business, we can help you come up with a business to start, as well as get you up and running within 30 days. Wellness development mission is to encourage accountability and motivation to clients with no health problems or different health problems, conditions, and disabilities in order to boost a successful, healthy habit while maintaining a healthy mental, physical, and emotional state. Overall, I am here for you. All you have to do is reach out. So I ask you, are you ready to make that change? And are you ready for the challenge? Contact me at hr@bettermindsmarket.com. Follow me on direct.me, here it is, and you will get all of my handles. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for watching. And remember, in order to become better, you have to better your mind. Thanks for watching. Welcome back. So,
can I just say that was fantastic. That was the launch of a new commercial, which was amazing. And I have to say, what I love is like the work that you do. And for those of you who don't know, Trini and I met only just about a year ago and started connecting, and Trini has helped me with so much of my growth. So when she says you're growing, I'm growing. Like, that's because of the work, the conversations, the action steps, and all of the support that I have gotten from Trini in her process. So it is true, it is authentic, it is real, and it truly does change you in a way where you grow too. So check her out, go to the website, you cannot miss it.
thank you, Brown Girl. She always interrupting, ain't she? I love it. I love it.
In the good ways, in the good ways.
Good ways. I wouldn't know where to look. But yes, it was a connection right away. That was meant to be, period. I can't think of nothing else to say. So, let's get to the rest of it.
Okay.
Yes, redemption, women uplifting other women. Yes, it's always good.
Yes.
Yo, Schoolboy, hello.
Thank you for joining us. Ranters Fam is here. I love it. Thank you.
That's right. So yes, it's good to uplift each other. I love it. That's what we here. We here to do well, family. We here to grow together.
Yeah.
So we went through one attribute that is negative for escapism, and that was procrastination, which we all have. And like you, Maria, I had AP English classes, but this girl waited until the night of to write a 10-page paper. Always last minute when it comes to my writing, because it's almost like pressure is my best creativity.
Yes, it's the pressure. Some people work under pressure, I think, right? And that's what it is. It's the pressure.
It's the pressure. And that is also a good trait when you at the PH side of the escapism.
Okay, so I got a question, and I think it came up when I was watching the video, your ad. You said something about mental blocks others place on you. I gotta ask: is there a connection between mental blocks others place on you and escapism that's in a negative way?
In a negative way, yes. Why? Because if you have this mental block, which is part of your reality, and you know where it's coming from, first of all, you gotta, in order for you to even know you have a block, you gotta know why you're running from your reality, what it is. If you even have a block, you need to be aware, because some people are not aware of themselves. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm trying to tell you. When you be like, what the hell wrong with them? Exactly. They're not aware of a lot of stuff. So you got to forgive them in that aspect and try to understand the other person. So if this mental block is here and you start to escape, and this mental block came from someone saying, oh, you can't sing, and you was a good backup, and you're a good background singer, right? And you went to go audition for this other thing, but you got a mental block in your head now because someone done told you that's in your circle that you can't sing. That made you less confident, right? So you end up escaping, and sometimes escapism make you isolate yourself. It's negative. That goes in with this second one I'm about to say, denial and psychosis.
Yeah.
So With this attribute, you reject social norms. You have rigid personal stances on life, meaning you're not flexible, and sometimes become isolated. For example, you may be escaping from the diagnosis of the illness due to feeling horrible and not admitting that you could suffer from this disease. This denial will lead to poor management of the illness, resulting in you not taking better management of the illness, which can end up being or ending in you becoming more sick or even death. Denial and psychosis. What are your thoughts, Maria?
I think that's pretty real, right? Denial can lead us down a really dangerous path, right? Because we're really not just avoiding reality, like we're creating an alternate reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes again hand in hand with the idea of lying to yourself. Lying to yourself is denial, isn't it?
Yes. And that mental block, escapism, you isolating yourself, is negative.
Yeah.
Is there an instance where you may have been in denial and you may thought that ignoring the situation is going to make it better and it end up not? And when I say avoiding, I mean avoiding in you should either take part or not take part. But instead of trying to figure that out, you go into fantasy world because I need to create something else. I need to not figure that out. I definitely don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Have you been in that space?
Oh yeah. And I'm going to tell you why. I have. I've been in that space very much so. For me, and I think for many people, it's a matter of control.
Okay.
It's control because control gives you peace to some extent, right? Being able to control something. And here's the thing. I can't control people. I can't control circumstances. So if this is a decision I have to make that I don't have any control over, I'm going to step away from it and go to something I can control.
That's right.
And I can control what I create. I can control the work I accomplish. I can control cleaning something. Like I can control other things, right?
That's right.
But does it go down to, again, that denial and that control, like still is like what I'm escaping with? Is that part of the negativity of that like denial piece?
Yes. In some way of fashion, because it could turn into, which is the third attribute, an addiction. Right? In addition to vices, sometimes give false relief. Drugs being heavily under influence in it, and alcohol and other vices help you hide and go undercover from your real self. The self you do not accept.
Because you're avoiding something.
There you go. You're escaping.
And like you said, I think what it is the self you don't accept. So you're avoiding yourself.
Hello. You're avoiding yourself.
And you can't build self-awareness if you avoid yourself.
Ooh, we keep coming with it. I'm telling you, I like the way you grow.
It doesn't mean it's not hard. because it's hard.
It's
And
definitely hard.
It's a conscious decision that you have to make in the moment regularly. And some days I make the better decisions, and some days I make the not so good decisions in it,
Right.
because it's hard. It's uncomfortable, right? It's really
Yep.
uncomfortable to have that self-awareness. It's really uncomfortable to have to understand myself.
That's true.
Because sometimes I'm not a great person, right? Like, some things I do
We
are
have our
not
ups and
good, right?
downs.
Like, and you have to understand the good and the bad of yourself. You have to know that you have it all, right?
Exactly. You have to know. And if you don't know yourself and you get buried into your addiction, you get deeper into it, it becomes your reality. It's no longer your fantasy. Do you see how that could, escapism can be bad?
BG Josh says
You
BG
still
still
owe
owe parking tickets. That and some, right? Okay. So, okay, so explain that a little bit more. It becomes my reality, or it becomes my illusion of reality?
It becomes your perception of your reality. Almost like what you said with lying. You lie so much you think it's true, but you escape so much you forgot about the real reality, and now you in this perception of what you think is your new true reality now. Meanwhile, procrastination, denial, addiction is getting worse and worse and worse. And then you got to dig yourself out of the hole. You got to dig it out. Get that shovel.
So I think, and I keep coming back to last week's episode on lying, because I think, like, those are the things that sometimes lead us into those paths of denial and addiction and what was the third thing you said? I lost it.
Denial, addiction, and procrastination.
Right? So, like, I'm lying to myself, but I'm also lying to others, because that reality of truth is too scary to deal with, right? So I'm gonna go all the way over here and do all this other stuff, and now create this other reality, which seems like that's gonna help me get through, and I don't have to deal with this actual reality and continue to lie.
Right. Escapism at its best. So, Maria, I want to say this, and I love Pain to Power. I really love it. I love the interviews. I love your authenticity when you're interviewing them. And I love the vibe between you and the other person. So can you tell me, or can we see what it might be about? What is Pain to Power?
I think we're about to see a very exciting clip, because I'm going to say the creator is Lovely T herself. And she has created this ad and promo for my new podcast coming up, Pain to Power. And I think we just need to see a little bit, maybe.
My world has slowly crumbled around me countless times, and every time I rebuild with the pieces I've been given to birth something so transformational and beautiful that no one else knew might exist before it was shown to them. These moments tend to coincide within my romantic path. The universe has been telling me to focus on the revolution and not romance. It has over time given me the tools, resilience, and light to turn my pain into power. And only now do I see that the key to this always resided in the love and knowing I had in myself, not from the external sources of family or men. The message I have been avoiding might be that my time in this world I had existed in was not to receive love, but to put it out there for others to see, feel, and heal through. Revolution before romance moves pain into power.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
I hope I'm allowed to, and I don't. What does pain to power means to you?
Pain to power to me means taking yourself from a dark place when you are hurting because of anything, right? Any pain. For me, it was I was in a really difficult marriage that took everything from me. And when I say everything, it's not the physical things, it's the mental, emotional things. And I had to rebuild who I was to become who I am. And that to me was my pain to power. It was experiencing and processing and healing from all of the hurt and the breaking down of myself and the tearing down of myself to build it up. And that was my path from pain to power. And so Pain to Power, the show, is the idea that mine is only one story of this path. And I want to capture the many different stories of people who have taken pain in their lives or in lives of people that they have met or been a part of and turned it into power, because it's how we lead with love, is we take our healing journey and we help others heal. And so that's what Pain to Power means to me, and that's what it means in the show. And I will say that excerpt that you just heard is actually a piece that I wrote on my blog from the piece called Revolution Over Romance, From Pain to Power.
I love it. Who we have this Sunday at 9?
It's exciting. I'm really excited because this week we are taking a little bit of a veer from what I've been talking about, which is we've talked to a lot of relationship experts on pain to power. And now we're going to talk to a musician who has taken pain and turned it into power for himself and for some youth that he works with. So his name is Flex Matthews. He's actually a DC local. And he is, I think maybe at the end of the show, we're going to see a little bit of his talents, and definitely come and see him talk about his journey of pain to power and how he has taken his music to lead with love for himself and others at 9:00 on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube.
That's right. Make sure you see it, because these interviews are powerful. You can learn something from them. You can heal. You can get an aha moment. Oh, I've been through that. You know what? My approach didn't work last time. Let me try his approach, or let me try her approach. You know, it's a way that we can grow together. That's what the Ranters Union is about. We are about growing and helping each other grow.
Yes, yes. And there's been so much growth, and I have to say I'm so grateful for you and Jalogic for helping me grow in this pain to power journey, because it started with Bettermindz Interrupting and all the bettering of my mind that you have been doing through your skills. So with that, how do we start to address this idea of escapism in the ways that it impacts us in life?
Okay, so I'm always say this. Seek therapy if it's too bad. Nothing is wrong with therapy. Everything is right about therapy. You know why? Because you can tell that person everything. They don't know who you know. Who they gonna tell? Your secret is safe with them. Okay? Get some therapy. And if you can't afford therapy, you come to somebody like myself. Go to a coach. Get you a mentor. Find someone. Okay? Because sometimes those battles that we escape from is too bad for us to deal with it on our own. Sometimes the healing process is too detrimental to us, because during the healing process, you have to recognize a lot of stuff. even within yourself. And then you got to start to forgive yourself. All of those things is a work of art within itself. This is the reason why you have to be ready to make a change. Otherwise, you're going to live your life in the fantasy world, escaping.
And I think what you bring the good point of is therapy is a support system, and you have to have a support system, whether it's a therapist, a life coach, a spiritual advisor. It's a support system because no one is meant to go through things alone. And that's, that's part of, right, the whole idea of tuning into pain to power, right? No one is meant to go things alone. You have to find people who can guide you and support you sometimes, because holding everything yourself is not necessary. And I saw that Schoolboy and Redemption were giving you a good thumbs up on everything you just said in terms of therapy. So we got a lot of agreement in the chat here.
Good. Yes, I encourage it 100%. So let's talk about it. And I'm going to give y'all just a snippet of it. But y'all going to have to pop on over to Open Minds to hear the spiritual aspect of this. This is opening your mind into a deeper space. And I mean deep. And some of y'all ain't going to understand it. But I'm going to give you a small insert. So, discovering your metaphysical nature and going through an awakening can be exhilarating, alarming, joyful, and ecstatic, scary, sad, and everything in between. It's much like giving birth. A plethora of emotions and states of being can overwhelm you and also throw you on your path without warning. I wanted to address the escapism that occurs during this process that many do not realize at the time. In hindsight, if you have been on your path a while, you will most certainly recognize it in others. And I'm going to leave with that one. That's the spiritual aspect. But in order for you to understand where I go with this, you got to pop on over to Open Minds, because this is spiritual. And I need y'all to be on that spiritual level with this one. Too deep right now.
It's a deep level. That's a deep level, though. And I think it's interesting because now you piqued my curiosity because you connected escapism to really spiritual rebirth. So is there almost like an empowerment in escapism that's beyond just a healthy escapism, but rather like a reformation of yourself, like almost Phoenix Rising type of thing?
Yes, it's definitely a transformational change. It's definitely a change in a very positive way. However, if you stay in it too long, you're going to get the effects of the negative, unhealthy escapism. Because even developing yourself takes time. But if you try to rush the process, if you try to hurry up and grow and ignore and don't actually be and live in it, it's not going to be a good process. Because guess what? Here you go. Procrastination, denial. You're messing up your reality over here. Because yes, we want to heal ourselves. Yes, we want to become more aware. But like you said earlier, we still got this life over here we got to live. We can't ignore it. Yes, we need to grow. Yes, we got to get over it. But we need to be taking our time. We need to actually learn ourselves. We need to learn ourselves so much that our conscious mind, when it's unconscious, it's going to knock on your brain. Hey, wake up. You ain't conscious right now. You know you unconscious. Wake up. That's how you going to know.
Josh says, preach. Yes. Well, so, and it's it's like you have to pace yourself, right? You have to pace yourself. Healing is a
Pace.
pacing, right? Like you can't just heal it all at one time, because actually it's really jarring.
It's
It's really
jarring.
jarring. Like I've spent so many nights crying in the last 4 months of this healing crap. Like, let's be honest. I'm sorry, not crap. It wasn't crap, but it was hard and it was painful. And
but
there were moments where it was like it took everything from me, right? And so I had to pace myself.
I'm gonna tell you why. Yeah, you paced yourself. And yes, it was draining. And yes, it was emotional, but you needed to be vulnerable in order to heal. And while you was healing, it may have seemed like it was 4 months of pain. It wasn't. It was you refreshing, you transforming. Because as you was releasing all the pain, all the guilt, all the non-forgiveness, as you was releasing it, you have less tears. You can sit there and think about, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to sit there and think about something that used to have you die crying, right? But now when you think about it, you're going to be like, damn, that's a damn shame. Oh, well, fuck it. It ain't going to bother you. That's your healing process.
And
but if we rush it.
Feeling. But that's the best feeling, right? It's the peace that you feel when something that used to trigger you no longer has that impact on you.
Exactly. I would so much agree with that. So, before, because I think, do you have any more? Do you have anything else you want to lead with or talk about? Because escapism, or anybody in the audience, do you have any questions? Do you want to talk about an experience that you may have had with escapism? Have you overcome it? Are you in it now?
How do you escape?
How do you escape? What do you do to escape?
Right?
What do you do to escape? So, I don't see
wait, hold on. I do have a question.
Okay.
So, Trini, how do you escape? And what do you do when you escape?
Well, I can go to, because I don't escape no more. I face reality.
All the time.
All the time.
Never have the need to ever escape.
I don't escape. I face it. I've done that in the past. I don't have no need to waste energy to escape. My creativity comes. How do you escape the escape?
Palmer Studios always got something for us. You're
I'm
pushing
going to tell you how you escape the escape. I'm going to tell you. And this is how I escape my escape. Okay? Because this is 4 years ago, as I was telling you, I needed deep therapy. Couldn't get it. Couldn't find it. Right? And I didn't want to deal with what I was going through at all. Period. Like I was in so much denial. I created a whole new life. Literally. And that life was getting to know me. Right? But in that escapism, I became very spiritual. And I grew. Right? And it allowed me to escape my reality. However, the negative parts of that, I procrastinated. And I'm about to keep it real with y'all. I'm about to give y'all some real truth. I procrastinated. I procrastinated with some duties as a mother. I procrastinated with some duties as a wife. I procrastinated with some duties as a daughter. I procrastinated with some duties as a friend. I isolated myself completely from the world. And in doing so, bills piled up. More trouble came. I dealt with more drama with the schools. All of these things, and I wanted to escape. So how did I escape? Mr. Palmer said the self you accepted is the real you. So, going back to why I don't escape anymore. I have to face my reality. Like I told you with the lion, I can't lie. I have to face it. Because me as a person, and now that I'm so aware of myself, I know what triggered me is. I know all these things. Me escaping is not going to help me. That is going to trigger me about all of that shit that I let happen and piled up and procrastinated. Escapism is my trigger, a negative one. So I don't do it. Because if I'm not being authentic, if I don't be real, I am living a false life. And deep down, I can't do that anymore. So that's how I escaped back then. And that's why I no longer do it now. Because as Mr. Palmer said, I know myself. I'm self-aware. I know my triggers. And I know how to communicate better. I have a better mind. My thought process is out of this world. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? I have no frenemies, enemies. I have none. And if I do, I don't know them. I walk away from that. I learned many lessons. I have much experiences.
So is the ultimate goal to not escape at all? Or is that your ultimate goal, but other people's ultimate goal can be that as long as you're escaping in healthy ways, it's okay?
Yes. Everything that you just said. Which leaves me with this quote. And I pulled it together. It's a quote that was made by Terry P. and Abraham Lincoln. So I mashed it up and made it one. You can't escape the responsibility of tomorrow by avoiding it today. Escapism isn't good or bad in itself. What is important is what you are escaping from and where you are escaping to. Just as long as your escaping doesn't harm others. I see the thought. I see you. I see you.
I got the visible thinking gears, don't I? Like you can see them. Okay, so it's the end of your quote. It's a good quote, but the end of your quote got me confused because it said as it doesn't harm others, but what about the harm to you?
I like that. I like that. But we went through all of that. And we also don't want it to harm you. So I'm going to have to add that up in there and put Lovely T and Brown Girl Interrupting.
We added to the quote.
I'm going to have to throw that in there because yes, make sure it doesn't harm you. Because that illness you don't take care of could result in death. That's devastating. So yes, I agree. Thank y'all for watching. Remember, every Thursday, 9 p.m., same bat time, same bat channel. Stay tuned and watch this video of Maria's guest.
And be there with us on Sunday, the 28th, just coming up this week at 9 o'clock on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube.
show me love when I took that step. I used to be a dude's dude, but transformed to a tank. I can't track, jet set, I hope to get. Grandson, live in the flesh. Say your piece to all the metro land and much respect to those who show me love when I took that step. I used to be a dude's dude, but transformed to a tank. I can't track, jet set, I hope to get a new paycheck. Move coast to coast and even know where I play next. Just wanna reach the apex, maneuver through fake stress. But in the midst of all, I heard a voice say, hey flex. They claim you don't care no more for the local scene. Dealing in the absolute quest to get loot. Forget about your fam that you left on the stoop. Get a little more props, you disappear like poof. Silly haters tell me how they got so far from the truth. In my heart, DMV is just that strong. Mocha City, title my home, away from home. See, I walk the palace tree with no desire for the throne. Time after time, I've been on the same grind. With dirt on the face from the hills that I climb. Some kids tried to diss talk, slick to hate mine. I still show them love cause I rode the green line. I never changed. Uptown is where I stay. Hey, 605, rep that all day. I never changed. Word sounds will say what you say. If you hate it, then you probably wasn't a fan anyway. Now I'm a true school delegate. Who true school delegate? True school delegate. Who got school? Now I'm a true school delegate who got school hella quick. Found out my style was premature, so I developed it. Let it rip in every single cipher I hit. Heard cats was rhyming worldwide, I wanted a dip. See, my etiquette can flow from the good book. I catch looks from members on the scene who speak and giving me left hooks. For what though? I'm just a mama's boy in the land of the lost. A simple soldier with no plan to be boss. I never change. Catch me at the corner store eating taquitos. 7-Eleven, big whites with Doritos. My peoples call me the boy who talks strange. The Midwest youngin' using that New York slang for sure the same. 605 body rocker, drop a free or any beat, son, if the joint is knocking. No hopping, the 360 where we get it poppin'. No need for acapellas, Artemis is beatboxing. Time after time, I've been on the same grind. With dirt on the face from the hills that I climb. Some kids tried to diss talk, slick to hate mine. I still show them love cause I rode the green line. I never changed. Uptown is where I stay. Hey, 605, rep that all day. I never changed. Word sounds will say what you say. If you hate it, then you probably was a fan anyway. Could I be a fool for thinking as simple as rapping? Knowing some dudes and so they sold to be the captain. Too good to swap the deck, well I'm happy to drop the anchor. They all getting vexed if you don't rush to tell them thank you. To me that's childish, some high school wowish. You could tell a hater by your physique and his prowess. Smell quick, one swipe, brush them off the shoulder blades. They hard darker spaces where your diamonds and your gold is made. Day and night I meditate while my soldiers lay. Walking on this black ice, soul to the Lord I pray. Learn how hard that you can't please everyone. Sometimes it's just flex when the load gets heavy, son. I'm sure some relate. Who need food on the plate? So if I gotta escape, respect, I gotta escape. Vacate, family, I come back to bad news. That's why you're all with family, stay away from the white dudes.
Music often tries to capture the new things, difficult it may be. When you have real change, everybody's thing begin to change.
I never changed. Uptown is where I stay. Hey, 605, rep that all day. I never changed. Word sounds will say what you say. If you hate it,